Jai Prabhuji. Hello everybody and welcome once again to our course of the book of Prabhuji, Kundalini Yoga, The Power is in You. This is the book and this is the material that we're using as a foundation for all the information that we're sharing about this beautiful path of the Kundalini. My name is Radha Devi and I am a monastic disciple of Prabhuji. Today we're going to continue deepening and familiarizing ourselves even more with the first center, which is the Muladhara Chakra or root chakra. In our previous class, we had the opportunity to get to know it. We spoke about different names that we can use in order to refer to this center. We also spoke about the meaning of the name. We spoke about things as the element that is related to it, which is Prithvi or earth. We spoke also in regards to the meaning of the different symbols that we can find in the yantra, in this diagram that we use to represent the first center. We also spoke about the deities that are presiding in this center, which are Brahma and Ganesha, and the Devi, which is Dakini. And we mentioned that in this class, what we're going to do is that we're going to be focusing more in what are the expressions of having the center in a balanced or unbalanced way. So basically today we're going to be focusing more in how it's going to be expressed in our behavior. And I will say that we're not going to focus only psychologically, but also physically. What are the issues? What are the consequences of having an unbalanced first center? And what we're going to see is the fact that there is a difference when the center is underactivated, or when it's blocked or even closed, or when it's overloaded, when it's hyperactivated. We saw in our class when we spoke about in our introductory to the centers, we saw that these are metaphysical vortices. They are this bridge between these two bodies, the physical and the astral body, and they need to receive, they need to assimilate, and they also need to transmit energy. So in this process where they are assimilating this energy, many times they are underworking, they have some type of blockage, and as I said, they can even be totally closed, but they can also be overloaded, like the energy that they are assimilating, it's in excess. So what we're going to see towards the end of our class is the fact that there are different issues, physical and psychological, related to each of these type of imbalances. And we're going to have kind of a bonus, an extra class, a third class in regards to the first center and all the centers that we're going to see about how does it manifest when it's actually open, when it's actually working and assimilating the right amount of energy. And we're also going to be going to the practice, what are things that we can do to balance the first center and all of the centers, as I mentioned, in each of their classes. What are the techniques that we can use in order to balance in both of the situations, when it's underactivated and when it's overloaded. So this is what we're going to be seeing today. I wanted to begin by sharing in regards to the term grounding or grounded, because it's a term that it's very related to this specific center. What we see, like this center, the element is the earth. We spoke about how the earth can also bring or influence in a negative or in a positive way in our psychological behavior. So also then we can already have an idea why we use the term grounding or grounded when we want to speak in regards to the Muladhara chakra. Grounded, when we use this word as an adjective to refer to a person, we are referring to someone that is mentally and emotionally stable. It's a person that it's realistic, it's not pretentious. So we are having an idea of what are the attributes of a person that the first center is working properly. So I wanted to bring up the relation that this term has with this first center. What we're going to see is that when we are born, we are vulnerable and we are dependent on others to protect us and to take care of us. So since the moment that we come to the world, we are in this quest for security, in this journey for security. So this specific lifelong search is going to originate from the first center. I don't know if you have ever met the type of person that doesn't matter what type of situation life brings, this person is always confident that they can surpass if it's, for example, a negative situation, but they have like a very using the term grounding, they have a very grounded confidence and trust in life, and they feel this belonging to the world. Or in the other hand, we have this person that you can even see from the way that they look, that they are a little bit detached from life or very detached from life. They are always in their own world of fantasies. This is the person that you see them crossing the street and the car comes honking at them and they are not very much present. So these things that I just mentioned, these both situations are deeply connected to a correct functioning of the first center. We're going to see that the first chakra security issues are going to often come from childhood experiences. If you didn't feel protected, if the bond that you had with your mother was not the best one, like it was an unhealthy bond, or maybe your parents also, maybe they didn't feel safe, and you inherit also these feelings. These are all things that are also related to issues with the first center. On the other hand, we have that as a strong and open first chakra as an adult. You're going to feel safe, you're going to feel protected, as this example of this person that trusts in what's happening and feel this belonging to the world, to their families. This is going to be a strong and open chakra as an adult. Then this is how it's going to be expressed. We are going to continue now sharing different properties in regards to this chakra, and then at the end we are going to deepening into the different expressions. As I mentioned, if the chakra is underactive, if it's blocked, or if it's overloaded. The color of this chakra, we saw that it's the red color. We saw it in the yantra, in the diagram of the Muladhara. And the color of the tattva is yellow, which was expressed in the square. That the square in the yantra is representing the tattva, which is the element in the case of the first center, which is earth or Prithvi. Another things that we have is that when we are focusing on a specific center, then there's going to be a power associated with it. And the concentration on this chakra, it's going to awaken the knowledge of the Kundalini and its all different aspects. And it's going also to include the means to awaken it. Remembering that in our previous class, we spoke how the location, the abode of the Kundalini is its first center. So when we are focusing our attention in this first center, then the power that is going to be associated with it is going to be the knowledge in regards to the Kundalini, and also what are the means to awakening. There are also animals that are related to each chakra and it's going to depend also in the movement of the vital energy in that specific center. The movement of the vital energy of the prana in the first center is going to be heavy, and it's going to be very, very slow. Therefore, this center is going to be symbolized with the white elephant, which is Airavata. This elephant is the vehicle of Indra. Indra is the god of war, the atmosphere, the visible sky, and the thunderbolts and storms. This white color of the elephant is going to represent the clouds from which the god Indra causes the rain. The plane or the loka, remember that we spoke how we have in the awakening ascent and descent of the Kundalini, we have a plane or a loka, and for the Muladhara chakra, it's going to be the Burloka, which is the earthly physical plane. This is where we live, where it's inhabited by human beings. The subtle element of this chakra or the Tammatras is Gandha or smell. I don't know if you remember, for the ones that saw our class in regards to the tattvas, the last 5 elements where this universe of names and forms is supported was the Pancha Mahabhutas, which are the great elements. And before these 5 elements, which are ether, air, fire, water, and earth, we spoke about earth, which is the one related to this specific center. Then before these 5 elements, we had the Tammatras, which are the subtle elements. And these are the residents of our senses, the sense of smell, the touch, the taste, which were 5 before these specific subtle elements. So for the first center, for the Muladhara chakra, Gandha or smell is the subtle element related to this specific center. And I thought that we need to understand a little bit about the limbic system in order to deepening our understanding in regards to the Gandha or smell. The limbic system is the part of the brain that is involved in our behavioral and in our emotional responses. Many authors are going to call it as the emotional brain. So it's going to be related to our behavioral and emotional responses, but it's going to be related to it especially when it comes to behavior that we need for survival, like feeding, like reproduction, like caring for our young, and also for the fight and flight responses. And we're going to see after, when we will speak about the gland of this specific center, how everything is going to be related. And also at the end, what are the issues that are going to bring in our physical body and in our psychological behavior. We're going to see why we're deepening into the explanation about this specific system. So our emotional responses, our behavioral responses, related more or less with these instinctive responses. Remember that this is the first center, is the last one in the animal realm, but it's the first one for us. So it's related to all these instinctive responses that we need in order to survive. We spoke about how this center is so much related with this search of security. So we're seeing how everything is connected. These limbic system have different parts. One of them are the thalamus, the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is doing the production of important hormones, and that work with the regulation of the thirst, the hunger, the mood. We also have the basal ganglia here, which is related to reward processing, the formation of the habit, the movement, and the learning. And we also have the main parts or two major structures that are the hippocampus and the amygdala. I would like to speak about both of them. The hippocampus, it's like many other structures of the brain, it comes in pairs. So there is one in each hemisphere of the brain. This is going to be related to our episodic memories, and also it's going to be cataloging the impressions, these memories that we have, and putting it away in a long-term storage. So it's taking the different memories that we have and it's cataloging them, categorizing them so they can be filled in the long-term storage in a different part of our brain. Then these connections that are made in the hippocampus are also going to be helping us to associate memories with various senses. And this is where the sense of the smell come. I don't know if you have this association in Christmas with the scent of the gingerbread, then this specific memory it's going to be forged here in this area of the brain, of the limbic system, which is the hippocampus. The hippocampus is also important for spatial orientation and for our ability to navigate the world. The amygdala, this name is going to be referring to its almond-shaped like form, and it's going to be located close to the hippocampus. This specific part of the limbic system is going to be related with our emotional responses. It's going to be related to feelings like pleasure, like fear, like anxiety, and also like anger. It's going to attach our emotional content to our memories. So this is why it plays a very important role in determining how robustly those memories are stored. Because what we're going to see is that memories that have a strong emotional meaning, they tend to stick the most. This is something that we learn from many different studies, that the more emotion is attached to certain memory, then they are going to be sticked in this long-term storage even more. Maybe something that I didn't mention, that this specific system is also related to our capacity of learning. So from what I just said, it's easier to learn things that are attached to a specific emotions. The last part that I would like to speak about is the olfactory bulb, which is the one that is concerning this specific center. The olfactory bulb is a small vesicular structure whose main function is going to be to capture and process the information from the other receptors that are located in the nasal cavity. So we have this bulb, it's taking the information that is coming from the cells that are located in the nasal cavity, and it's transmitting this information in our brain. And this is also why for us it's easier to attach a certain memory to smells, to others, than to images or to sounds. I don't know if it happens to you. It happens to me in many different occasions that certain smell is taking me back to a very specific memory of my childhood. And here we can see why it's happening like this. So in the book, Prabhuji is explaining us why then there is the use of different incense or aromas in different rituals. And he's telling us that most people think mistakenly that it's only for our pleasure that they are putting these perfumes and these different aromas in these different rituals. But the fact is that their purpose is strictly spiritual. What's happening is that different aromas are inducing in us the proper anemic state in order to meditate, in order to actually go to meditation. And he's sharing with us in this part of the book how this is why he founded Prabhuji's Gifts. Prabhuji's Gifts is the company of Prabhuji. He founded it to keep practicing what he's calling this lost Vedic art, that we are actually using different things. In this case was the incense, in order to provoke, in order to induce these different states are going to help us to reach meditation. What I want us to do is that I want to actually read the exact words that he wrote in the book so we can have a more clear perspective of what he's sharing here in regards to the smells and how they are inducing different states that are better, that are good for meditation. Although most people mistakenly believe that incense and scented oils used in Vedic ceremonies are intended to be pleasant aromas, their purpose is in fact purely spiritual. Incense is made with aromas that induce moods conducive to contemplation, introspection, concentration, and meditation. Since this Vedic art is almost forgotten these days, I have founded the company Prabhuji's Gifts to distribute incense, not only because it is pleasant, but because it facilitates meditation. So here we see in his own words this connection between the gandha, the smell, and how different type of odors can actually facilitate meditation. And we can also get to know more about this company, Prabhuji's Gifts, that Prabhuji founded in order not only to bring pleasant smell, but in order to facilitate meditation. Prabhuji's Gifts started with incense, now it grew, now it has candles, it has Palo Santo, it has sage, it has many different things that are used in different rituals. It's bringing the culture of different traditions, and it continued to grow, bringing us the divinity, like trying to share the divinity that we can find in different cultures. To continue, we have also, I remember that I mentioned that there is also a gland associated with each chakra. For the Muladhara chakra, this is going to control the suprarenal glands. It's going to be related with the circulatory system and the excretory system. It's going to be also closely tied with our skeleton, with our teeth, with our nails, and with our hair. I want to make a small parenthesis here to speak a little bit about the suprarenal glands, which are also called adrenal glands. They are very small and they have this triangular shape. They are located on top of both kidneys. And what they're doing is that they are producing hormones that are going to help us regulate our metabolism, our immune system, our blood pressure, our response to stress, and it's related to many other essential functions. But I wanted to do this small parenthesis in regards to the adrenal glands or the suprarenal glands, so you can see later in our class how this is going to be so related to the different physical symptoms, physical issues that we're going to have when this chakra is blocked or overloaded. We have also a cognitive organ or jnanendriya that is related to this specific center, which is the nose for smelling. We have the organ of action or the karmendriya, which is the anus for excretion, and according to the Kashmir Saivism, is going to be the feet or pada for locomotion. The energetic channel or the nadi of this center is alambusa. The bio element or the dosha is kapha, which is a watery element. The vital air or vayu is apana. The sheath or kosha is anamaya kosha, or the physical gross body. There are different gemstones that are associated with the center. We have the calcite, the chalcopyrite, we have the chrysoprase, the amethyst quartz, we have the diamond, the garnet, also we have the red jasper, the onyx, the pearl, the siderite, the clear quartz, the smoky quartz, we have the ruby, the black tourmaline, we have the pyrite, the opal, the obsidian, and we have a few more. The fragrance is sandalwood, and the aromatherapy oils are cypress, myrrh, patchouli, musk, cedar, and a very famous one, which is the lavender. The planet that is related to the Muladhara chakra is the Mangala or Mars. And we have secondary chakras that are related to this Muladhara chakra, which are Rudra, Karshika, Rudra Kamunda, Siddha Kamunda, Siddha Lakshmi, Siddha Yogeshwari, Rupa Vidya, Shyama, Dantura, Tara, Sodasi, Vatravi, Shinamasta, Dhumavati, Bagala, Matangi, and Kamala. These are the secondary chakras related with the Muladhara chakra. Now we're going to the main topic of this class, which is these expressions when we have a blocked chakra and when we have an overloaded chakra. We're going to start by speaking in regards to the blocked chakra. You can recognize this type of person even in the street, as I mentioned earlier, this person that in their sight, in the way that they look, you can see that they are not present. Also, their movement, their physical language, it's kind of unbalanced. You can feel their uneasiness or their detached from the world. Or many times we have this friend that have many creative ideas. It has motivation, but at the time that the person needs to actually execute all these amazing ideas, these very creative ideas, the person cannot do it. Like the person always stays in a mental level, in a theoretical level, and when it comes to the practical level to actually execute, the person is missing the skills, what it's needed in order to execute. When in our childhood there was some type of trauma, if there was some type of abuse, or if, for example, the attachment with our parental figure was not strong one, we have a healthy attachment and we have an unhealthy attachment. If it was an unhealthy attachment, then this is going to be that the chakra will close. Also, if we didn't feel safe, if we didn't feel that our needs were met, if we didn't receive what we needed, this attention, this love, these different material things, these basic needs that need to be met in order for us to feel safe and protect, then this is going to be causing that the chakra will be closed. And therefore, we're going to have different symptoms, both physically and psychologically. Because of this closed chakra, there's going to be a response, and it's going to be a defensive response, in this case, to close. I don't feel protected, I don't feel safe, I don't feel like I belong to this world, so my response is going to be closing this first center. And let's remember that it's the first center, it's the foundation of all this system of chakras, of all this system of centers. So imagine that you are closing this foundation, it's blocked. How this is going to influence all the other chakras and ourselves as human beings in our adult life. We are going to have different physical problems that are going to be associated with a blocked chakra, beginning with problems in the feet, in the legs, in the hips, in the bones, in our skeleton. Remember that we said that it's going to be related to our skeleton, which is what is supporting us, is basically our base. We are also going to have different problems related to tightness. So we're going to have problems in our lower back. We're going to have problems of constipation. There are even people that are going to have problem having an orgasm because they have this tightness. People who feel sick or who get sick very often, or that they have low energy, are people with blocked first center, with the blocked Muladhara. Also, they're going to have different eating problems, more related with excessive loss of weight, and also some of the physical problems that a person with a blocked chakra can have is insomnia. So we spoke about how this center is very connected to the suprarrenal glands, and we spoke how they are creating different hormones, and some of the hormones are this adrenaline or cortisol, which are very related to our states of alert, or how we call it a fight or flight. So we can start to see the connection on the organs that this center is related to, and how it's going to then be transmitted to ourselves in our physical problems. Always remembering that these centers are located in the Linga Sharira, in the astral body, but they are working as a bridge. They are a bridge between these two realities, the physical and the astral. So even though they are located in our astral body, we're going to have different consequences, different issues that are going to be felt in our physical body. Something else that can happen with the closed chakra is that it can be closed only temporarily, and it can happen specifically in different situations that are related to travel. When we travel, we have this uncertainty. We have a period of time that we might not feel safe, like it's unknown ground, it's something unknown for us. So what's happening is, I don't know if you heard that for many people, they suffer from constipation when they travel. And this is specifically why. It's related to this first center and the sense of security. What it's saying in this specific situation of constipation, it's I am safe, I am in control, I am closing, nothing comes up, nothing goes out, and I am in control of the situation. So many times what is recommended for when you're traveling, in order to feel safe again and to release or get rid of the constipation, is to go back to your body, to feel, to do kind of a scan of your body, to feel where is more tense, if your shoulders are tense, your hips are tense. And something else that is very recommended is to actually walk barefoot in this new place that you're going. Like, it's going to help you with this grounding that we spoke at the beginning. It's going to help you ground, to come back to your body and to feel safe what's happening. And this is going to help with the constipation that is related to the temporary closeness of this first center. I want us now to speak about the psychological problems that are related to a blocked chakra. We see a lot of anxious people, also people that are completely detached from themselves and from the world. This is going to be expressed by avoiding friendship. Many times it's people that don't get along with their family. They are expressing also this by missing important deadlines, and they have issues meeting their basic needs. We are going to have also problems related to food addiction, or also alcoholism, different type of addictions, even workaholisms. In this specific type of problems, many chakras are involved, but what we're going to see is that the first one, it's going to be part of this equation where this addiction is born. Adults with the blocked chakra are going to have, as I just said, problems meeting their basic needs, getting along with their family members, Also, very basic things like paying bills. We're speaking about basic needs, things that are related to our security, to our protection, to our survival. So they're going to have issues with these very basic needs. So someone that wants to work in balancing this blood chakra needs to start paying more attention to basic needs like self-hygiene, meeting different deadlines, paying all the basic bills like the electricity, the water, the rent, and it will probably need help from someone that is more grounded, from a friend that is grounded and that is organized, in order that the person will surpass this type of situations. We are now going to continue speaking about an overloaded chakra. How does an overloaded chakra looks like? First, I want to say that even though it's a lot more common to find people with the blood chakra or close, there are situations where we can find people with the overloaded chakra. These are the people that have a lot of rules, a lot of routines, like they have a very fixed routine. They are not flexible. They void spontaneity in their lives till the fact that they cannot even be vulnerable with different people. But we're going to deepen it more when we will actually speak about the psychological issues related to an overloaded chakra. This can start in our childhood, when in our house we also have a very strict set of rules. So we're used to it, so we continue like this as an adult, or also it can come as an opposite response. When we didn't have any rules, when we were lacking this routine, this sense of security, this sense of certainty with different routines, knowing what's going to happen, then as an adult, we overreact and we make things even more dramatic. We go to the extreme and we really need a very set of rules that are very strict. We have a very strict routine and we are lacking spontaneity in our lives. The most common physical sign of an overloaded chakra is obesity. We see how eating, it's actually activating the first chakra, but many people go overload and they eat in excess and then they become overweight. So they are creating this sense of heaviness in order to feel safe. So what we're going to see is that someone that is overweight, and it's related because there can be many different facts related to overweight, but when it's coming specifically from a overloaded chakra, what we're going to see is that it's not, when they want to try to lose weight, it's not something only related to health, but for them it's threatening because what about my weight? What about this sense of security that the heaviness brings to me? And not only this sense of heaviness, but also the space that they take. It's like this is affirming their existences in life. This is my place, and it's very visible. Like I'm white, I am overweight. This is the space that I occupy in this life. Obesity is not going to be the only sign of an overloaded chakra. We have people that are going to be obsessed with their physical appearance, obsessed with their body, or hyper-focused in how they look. They are going to be so focused on it that they are going to disregard, to ignore different aspects in their life that are also need to be cultivated and developed, like your spirituality, your friendship, your relationships with your family. They are going to be disregarding this aspect and are going to be completely focused in their physical appearance. So as we see, it's not only obesity, but to be focused more in the physical appearance. It's going this overloaded chakra is going to be also expressed by having stiff joints, like this tightness. Remember that we also spoke about it when we share about the element of earth. If it's influencing in a negative way, in that case we spoke psychologically, but we saw how we are stiff, we cannot change of point of view, and we're going to see it now also with the psychological problems. But I wanted to mention that physically it's also expressed in stiff joints like our ankles, our knees, our hips, also in our shoulders. We're going to have tightness in these different parts of our body. Now we can go to the psychological problems and keep learning about it. People that have this tendency of hoarding, we see it in food addiction, like we see how it's expressed in obesity, but not only by accumulating or hoarding food, they also accumulate different possessions, they accumulate money. These are people that we call it stingy. They are going to have very rigid rules, very rigid limits, rigid boundaries, and they are not going to allow themselves to be vulnerable or spontaneous in front of other people. So this is going to be then, as a consequence, this is people that are going to feel very lonely, very disconnected, because they cannot actually allow themselves the space to be vulnerable and connect with another person. So there are going to be people that at the end are going to be very lonely, sad, because they cannot allow themselves to go forward, to cross different boundaries that they imposed to themselves. This is going to prevent them to actually develop different relationships. They are also going to be having a lack of religious beliefs. They are so concrete that they cannot connect to something that is higher from them. So these are people that are usually lacking religious belief. They are not connected at all with their spiritual aspect of themselves. This is everything for today. As I mentioned at the beginning of our class, in our next class we are going to focus more in how does it looks when this chakra, when this Muladhara chakra is actually open, how we are going to behave as adults, and we're also going to be sharing different practices that we can use in order to balance the chakra, and specifically in both of the situations that we shared today, when the chakra is blocked or when the chakra is overloaded. Thank you very much for joining us today. Jai Prabhuji.